This is the holy day, a day when the Shiite sect of Islam mourns the martyrdom of Imam Hussain, the cult of martyrs. On this day, the whole country mourns. Iran belongs to the Shiite branch of Islam, who, unlike Sunni Islam, follow not only the Holy Quran, but also their 12 imams, including Imam Hussain. Imam Hussain, or another name Abdallah al-Hussein, was a grandson of the Islamic prophet Muhammad. The Shiites follow him. In the eyes of Sunni Muslims, this is a heretical sect, but the entire Iranian theocratic regime is ideologically based on it. It wasn't always like that. The ancient Achaemenid Empire, which ended with the conquest of Alexander the Great, and later Sassanid Persia, which ended with the Arab conquest, were Zoroastrian. Zarathustra is nobody to the people here. Azeris were never Zoroastrians, but they are Shiite Turks which they're proud of. When I mention Zarathustra's name to the locals, they respond with indifference. They know who it is, but they show no interest. Iran was completely changed by Islam and turned its history in a completely different direction. Islam does not see itself as the youngest world religion. This is a Western narrative. Islam considers itself as the only religion, and its roots can be followed back at the age of Abraham, or as they name Ibrahim. According to this Abraham, Moses, and even Jesus were all prophets of the Islam. But then came the prophet, the last but the greatest, who molded the only religion into its final form as it is today. The story could have ended here, but the conflict between the two denominations only begins here, and the consequences of this conflict continue to this day and dramatically influence world politics. The Islamic world has not been changed by the modern age. In Islam, there was no Reformation, no Renaissance, nor Enlightenment, no Industrial Revolution, no secularization, which decisively influenced the history of the West. The problems of the Islamic world are thousands of years old, which lead back to different interpretations of the Quran, and not only between Shiites and Sunnis, but also within them, especially the latter. Shiite Islam is similar to Christian Catholicism, where there are clergy, priests, saints who are called imams here, and the martyrs. Iran has many martyrs. Almost every family lost a male family member in the Iran-Iraq War. Many mourn their father, brother, and son. The nation has not recovered from this trauma since then. A sage once said, in times of peace sons used to bury their fathers, in times of war fathers bury their sons. As I look at these people sobbing, weeping like children, I see more behind than simple religious mass psychosis. There are a few societies that have gone through as much suffering as the Iranian one. It's like some kind of national tragedy, where the individual cavalry of millions comes together and reaches its climax, imbued with religious pathos. I feel sad for Iranian people. This is therefore not only a religious day, but also a national day of mourning. But you ought not to imagine some Iranian 4th of July with fireworks, self-glorifying celebrations, candies, and hot dogs, but a very deep collective sorrow, which in this form is unique in the world. On this day, everyone is warmly welcomed, whether Iranian or foreign, Muslim or non-Muslim, Shiite or something else. Anyone can apply for a free lunch, and everyone is eligible for unlimited tea consumption today. The procession moves slowly along the boulevard. They already left behind the Grand Bazaar. Anyone can join and share their grief along the way. But there was also an unexpected event in connection with this, which decisively influenced the Iranian section of my trip. It turned out that the previously well-organized road, rail, and air transport was completely turned upside down thanks to this event. For a week, it was near impossible to get anywhere in the country since all tickets were sold for months. Even the next week was a very complicated undertaking to get anywhere. The reason for this was that all available means of transport were mobilized for the pilgrimage to Karbala, which lasted for a week. Karbala is a holy city, the city of Imam Hussain, to which many people now make pilgrimages. In practice, this means that all buses go to or come from Karbala, and therefore, many more people are forced to travel by train and plane domestically, which is why it is no longer possible to get tickets for these transports. Since I had a whole month planned for Iran, 2 weeks lose is dramatically huge. That's undoubtedly my fault. However, to not taking this event into account before starting to plan my trip, now it threatens me to get stuck in Tabriz for indefinite period. But not this was the only unexpected event that changed my plan for Iran. In the meantime, tempers are already boiling under the surface, which later reached a point of eruption and promise of regime change. None of this could be felt now. Now the biggest headache is getting from A to B, in my case to Isfahan. This is my 5th visit to Iran, but I have never had such problems before. On my previous trips, it was unimaginable that I could not get anywhere. Religious fervor does not diminish as the day progresses. In any case, it can be said that it is a sacred experience to fall into this series of events that can hardly be understood by Western eyes. Unlike Mecca and Medina, the Shiite holy places, which are all places of pilgrimage, can be visited by non-Muslims as well. It hasn't even been a year since the country reopened since the start of the pandemic. Even before COVID-19, Iran was not among the most visited countries. It does not have a good reputation in the Western media, and this was not helped by the almost 2-year shutdown. During my stay so far, I have only met one foreigner in the person of a Serbian cyclist. Today doesn't promise much because everything is closed. Restaurants, shops, and the bazaar. All that remains is to return to the hotel. After an afternoon nap, I go for an evening walk in the city, which now reminds me of a ghost town. The inner city, which used to be bustling with life, has now been replaced by desolation. Everything is closed as far as the eye can see. There is something unsettling about this silence. As I later found out, it was the feeling of the calm before the storm. This day is over, and soon the week will be too. Tomorrow is a new day, new challenges, new hope. Today, the hotel's restaurant, the only one that is otherwise open, is totally empty. And I am in my hotel room again. I'll continue from there in the next episode. See you there.